Now it's 5:30 p.m. here in Singapore and you're watching The Big Story, where we discuss the hottest topics of the day and explain why it matters. I'm Haryanto Diman, reporting to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. The Ministry of Education has clarified that withholding the original primary school leaving examination result slip due to unpaid school fees is a long-standing practice. MOE was responding to a Facebook post by career counsellor and activist Gilbert Goh, which was making its rounds online. In the post, Mr. Goh said he came across a parent whose daughter had received a photocopy of a results slip instead of the original copy. This was due to outstanding school fees. MOE said the issue is not about recovering the money, and the underlying principle is to play a part in paying the fees, no matter how small it is. Here to tell us more is education correspondent Amelia Teng. Welcome, Amelia.
Hi.
So, Amelia, tell us, right, the post clearly has made its round online when it first came out. What are people's reactions to it?
Yeah, so this first post that was up on Monday, it drew a lot of responses. It's clearly an emotive issue because you look at this post and it says this PSLE student, a girl, is unable to get her original results certificate because her parents can't pay school fees. So it sounds pretty unfair, unreasonable, and some may think MOE is being a little bit rigid. A lot of people online are questioning MOE's policy, saying it's lacking in compassion and empathy. She's a 12-year-old girl and she's having to pay the price for her mother or father's mistake.
Right. So in that regard, is it necessary then to withhold the result slip?
I guess it is quite a shock to go to school and try and get your results and hear from your teacher that you can't get your result slip. But MOE's stance is that you have to take some responsibility to pay for your child's school fees, no matter how small the fee is. So you are obliged to pay a certain amount, no matter how small that fee is. And this co-payment principle also applies to not just education, but healthcare and other aspects in Singapore. And the practice is not unique to PSLE, so also applies to all national exams, N-levels, O-levels, A-levels. And that, I guess the reasoning behind withholding the result slip is because that's the only leverage that the school has to try and get a response from the parent. And to be fair, it's probably the school's last resort because they would have already tried to contact the parent multiple times over the 4-6 years and not gotten a response from the families.
Right. And Amelia, MOE also said that education is almost entirely public funded, right? Why not just make education free then, instead of insisting parents to play a small part by paying a small fee?
So actually, education here in our mainstream schools is virtually free. It's just that there's a small co-payment that parents need to make. So for primary schools, Singaporeans pay actually nothing. You just need to pay $13 in miscellaneous fees every month, and this is for schools' operating costs, materials that they use for different students. And secondary school fees are $5 every month. Miscellaneous fees are $20 monthly. So it's actually very small compared to the ministry's funding for each primary school pupil, which comes up to about 12,000 in a year and 15,000 for secondary school students. So some people may be thinking, so $5, $0, why do you still need to pay that small fee? In a sense, goes back to the same principle of having a sense of ownership and duty in your child's education and taking that interest to want to know what's happening in his or her school life. So, if you are really genuinely needy, there's actually a lot of financial assistance available as long as you are willing to reach out.
Right.
And I think MOE has actually ramped up help over the years by increasing income criteria last year, bursary amounts and all that. So there's a lot of help. And perhaps some families, I guess if you are in a difficult circumstance, you may not be as aware of some of these financial schemes available, or you are just too distracted, too busy with other things that you don't you don't apply for it, and sometimes it can be time consuming, to some extent. Or some families are just negligent as well, and they refuse to respond to reminders. But I also think, as a last point, that there is also room for schools to be to show a little bit more empathy and compassion in communicating with the students, because it's not the students usually who pay for the school fees. So maybe some lead time before they collect the results, or
some sort of reminder, right? I suppose. But all in all, at least the matter actually ended on a good note, because there was a good Samaritan that came forward to actually make the payment. Several good Samaritans, exactly. But like you mentioned, Amelia, of course, there are financial assistance out there. Parents who really need them, they can always reach out and see how this financial assistance scheme can help in their situation, right? Once again, thank you, Amelia, for shedding some light on this matter. Now, if you would like to read the full story, you can visit our website at straitstimes.com.